Galveston Bay is a vital natural resource we're all connected to. It's one of the planet's most productive ecosystems. It's an extraordinary resource for all types of things, ranging from seafood to tourism to shipping to commerce. It really is the entity that binds us all together in the Houston-Galveston region. Galveston Bay Foundation exists as a leading voice for Galveston Bay. We work to ensure it remains a healthy and productive place for generations to come. You'll find us working in schools and communities, both on the ground and on the water, in our 5 main program areas: education, habitat restoration, water protection, conservation, and advocacy. Galveston Bay Foundation's education programs are core to what we do, I think. It's about reaching kids around Galveston Bay, exposing them to Galveston Bay, and hopefully convincing them and showing them why it's important to preserve and protect.
For us, if we didn't have funding to do programs like this, we would continue to be teaching aquatic science out of a textbook and using PowerPoint slides, and there would never be that real connection. Since our partnership with Galveston Bay Foundation, I can tell you that this program has just come alive, and it has gone from coloring pictures of fish to actually a real connection and students wanting to care and making a difference.
We've worked this year with over 8,000 students from 140 different classrooms. About 73% of the kids are from low-income neighborhoods, low-income schools. Many times these kids might live a mile from Galveston Bay, but have never had access to the bay. But our programs really expose them to the water and to habitat restoration, and we have story after story about kids who literally come into the program and they're scared of the water, and by the end of the program, they're splashing around, playing with the critters in the water. It's really exciting to see the kids experience Galveston Bay.
They actually ask about the health of the bay, which I think is really special and unique for high school students. High school students are not always the most aware of the greater world around them. So the fact that that has become a part of just their life and they're aware of what's going on tells me that this is something that will go beyond their graduation.
The Galveston Bay Foundation's oyster shell recycling program is an effort to return shucked oyster shells from restaurants back into Galveston Bay to create new oyster habitat. During the spawning season, oysters are actually teeny tiny floating larvae, and they need somewhere hard to attach. With oyster shells in place, they'll attach to those and start to grow into amazing habitat for all the critters, as well as delicious food for us. Galveston Bay Foundation comes into play with the restaurants. We provide them with recycling bins and instructions on how to recycle those shells. Our staff actually come weekly to collect those shells from the restaurants. They are quarantined for 6 months. We then work with volunteers and contractors to return those shells to the bay and create that habitat for baby oysters. And last but not least, they're essential to water quality. One adult oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water in a day. So you can imagine how much cleaner and clearer our bay would be if we had a multitude of oysters back in our water.
Galveston Bay Foundation has worked to conserve land and restore habitat really almost since our inception. So that means we've been working on these issues for almost 30 years at this point. We do wetland conservation, wetland restoration, oyster reef restoration, seagrass restoration. There's a lot of erosion across Galveston Bay, and we have protected over 17 miles of shoreline. In total, we have preserved, protected, and restored over 20,000 acres of habitat across Galveston Bay. It's a big, long-term effort. There's still a lot more to be done, but we've really tried to emphasize conserving the land so we don't necessarily have to restore it again in the future. We've accomplished a lot in our 30-plus years, being not necessarily just a watchdog, but kind of a conscience for the bay. You know, we talk about our mission of preserving and protecting and enhancing the bay. We want the next generation to be able to experience Galveston Bay, and in fact, we want to make it better for them. So that role that we play is critically important to the long-term health of Galveston Bay. And I think without the Galveston Bay Foundation, we would definitely see degradation in the health of Galveston Bay. It really takes effort and a voice to make that happen, and we appreciate everybody who understands that and who wants to be part of it, and we welcome you to be part of it, and we want you to help us continue to make Galveston Bay a great natural asset for all of Houston.